On News 2.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight, Saturday.
Good evening, I'm Antonio Mora. Even the Russian government tonight is admitting what many have feared for days. It is likely there are no survivors on board the doomed submarine at the bottom of the Barents Sea. International help is on the scene tonight. The Russian government is under severe criticism for its handling of the crisis, and new details are emerging about how much the crew suffered when their vessel exploded. ABC's Richard Gisbert is in the Russian port city of Murmansk.
Russians got the news today over their television sets. However difficult it is to say, this senior naval officer told them, it is quite likely that we must confirm our worst expectations. He told millions of Russians that the crew at the front of the submarine died within minutes of the explosion. Those further back survived longer, tapping out messages to rescue divers. They were telling us water was coming in, he said, shrinking the time limit for survival. They were asking to be supplied with oxygen, but that never happened. After days of alienating Russians by saying little about the accident, the government has at least begun to talk. The deputy prime minister theorized today that the sub might have hit a stray mine. The news that stuck with people, though, was the fate of the crew. There was hope, this man said. Many people had hope, but it was not God's will. While he was talking, his friend began to cry. I wish it could have happened faster, she said, because for us, it seemed to take a long time. Imagine how long it must have been for them. What the authorities here finally admitted today was something that most Russians had already feared was true. And they made the announcement at a time when help from overseas was just a few hours away. A British-Norwegian rescue team was quite literally on the horizon. Russian TV was reporting live from the rescue scene when it spotted the Norwegian vessel in the distance, accompanied by a Russian warship. These pictures were taken earlier on the ship's journey to the rescue site, and they focus on a new mini-submarine built for the British Navy, the LR-5. Unlike the Russian rescue subs, the LR-5 is not attached to a cable. Free-floating and highly maneuverable, it's been described as an underwater helicopter. It has a 3-person crew, 2 pilots, and a rescue chamber operator. If it was to successfully dock with the Kursk and miraculously find survivors, it has a capacity of 16.
As you can see, it's a bit cramped in here, but we can actually get 16 people in here. Not very comfortably, but we will get them in.
Had the sub not been delayed in a Norwegian port while waiting for Russian government clearance, it would have been here 2 days ago. Russians may never know if that holdup cost some sailors their lives, or what actually happened on the ocean floor. And at the nearby naval base of Severomorsk, they are making preparations at the cemetery. Richard Gisbert, ABC News, Murmansk.
Some observers say shades of the old Soviet Union have emerged as the submarine disaster has unfolded. More on that story from ABC's Hillary Brown, reporting tonight from Moscow.
From day one, Russian authorities put up an information barrier around the disaster, first taking 2 days to admit that it happened at all, and then issuing contradictory statements about its cause. In the space of 48 hours, they said the sub went down because of a technical malfunction, a collision with a foreign submarine, and an explosion in the torpedo bay. The only frank statement came from the chief of the Navy when he said on television, "We have no idea what is going on inside that submarine."
From the beginning of the crisis, the Russian authorities were either distorting the facts or withholding the facts or just simply lying about what's happening.
The silence for President Putin was deafening. He was on vacation for 5 days before he made any public statement about the catastrophe. 2 days later, he asserted that the Navy had never refused any offers of assistance from Western countries. In fact, it had, consistently. Analysts say this is a complete throwback to Soviet times, where the priority is to save face rather than save lives.
They know, the Russian admirals, that in Russia you could go to the prison to Siberia if you undermine state security and state secrecy. And if sailors die, well, most likely you won't get into prison for that at all.
The families of the crew were given no information and no explanation for the 4-day delay in launching a rescue attempt. "What are you doing?" says this mother. "Our sons are dying." Prayers were said for the men of the Kursk in churches all over Russia, and especially here in Moscow's main cathedral. These were prayers for their safety. They may soon be prayers for their souls. There is something positive in all this. The way the Russian authorities handled this crisis is not a complete regression to Soviet ways. In Soviet times, there would have been no news of it at all. Hillary Brown, ABC News, Moscow.
On an island near Tokyo, residents are digging out from a blanket of volcanic ash. Mount Oyama erupted again yesterday, sending ash 5 miles into the sky. As much as 8 inches of the ash covered homes and roads. Evacuated residents began returning home today. In Carlsbad, New Mexico, a family camping trip ended in tragedy when a gasoline explosion killed 6 people and injured 6 more. 4 of the dead were children. Authorities believe the explosion was triggered by a rupture in the pipeline. A class action lawsuit has been filed in Ohio against Ford Motor Company, accusing the carmaker of risking thousands of lives with a deliberately confusing tire recall. Ford has denied the allegations. Earlier this month, Ford announced the recall of 6.5 million Firestone tires after a possible link emerged between the tires and accidents that caused 62 deaths and 100 injuries. When World News Tonight this Saturday continues, now that the conventions are over, the presidential candidates hit the campaign trail and campaign river. And a shocking discovery at the North Pole fires up the global warming debate.
This is World News Tonight, Saturday. Brought to you by Staples.
Welcome back. Please get out a pen and paper.
Psst. You have an extra pen? Regular or gel ink? Gel. Comfort grip or standard? Comfort. Psst. You have any paper?
Staples has everything you need for back to school.
Bobby?
You have any chalk? Regular or dust-free?
Yeah. Want low prices? Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
Heartburn. You get it time and time again. You've treated it. You've changed your diet. But the relief doesn't last, and the pain comes back 2 or more days a week. That frequent persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious. It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about America's most prescribed acid control medicine. Your results may vary, but for many people, 1 daily dose of Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec, and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible with the purple pill they call Prilosec.
We all want to look good in our sunglasses.
Right now at LensCrafters for only $99, you can find great-looking sunglasses in your prescription.
Hundreds of the latest sunglass styles, all for only $99.
Hurry, event ends soon.
Senator John McCain had surgery to remove cancerous skin tissue and lymph nodes today at the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix, Arizona. Tests thus far have indicated that McCain's melanoma has not spread. Further tests will be performed after the surgery. The Democrats vying for the White House are pounding the campaign trail this weekend by land and by river. Vice President Al Gore is on the stump on a Mississippi steamboat. Traveling with him is ABC's Terry Moran.
On the riverfront in Dubuque, Iowa, Al Gore's voice was deteriorating, but he kept hammering home his populist attack on the Republican ticket.
They give in to the big drug companies. I fight for families. That's the difference in this election. They're for the powerful. We're for the people.
After a birthday serenade from the crowd for Tipper Gore, it was back on board the paddle wheeler Mark Twain for day 2 of this post-convention trip down the Mississippi. All the states this campaign is hitting on this trip, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, and Missouri, were won handily by Bill Clinton in the past 2 elections. And yet the vice president is spending precious time trying to line them up this year because these are among the states where the election will be won or lost.
And David, it's really kind of amazing that Gore chose to campaign in eastern Iowa, right?
So far, the Gore campaign has been successful in one main objective, garnering a lot of positive coverage in the local press. And for some of the people who showed up this morning, the vice president seems to have turned a corner.
You know, people were used to him in the background a lot, and I think he's really stepped forward now and speaking up a lot, and people are listening.
He's so personable, and he comes across really well.
And the campaign is turning up the heat on Governor Bush on the issue of debates, since Bush has said he would rather not participate in formal debates, preferring other venues like cable news talk shows.
George Bush ought to be able to step up on stage and debate Al Gore one-on-one and tell the American people on national television where he stands. He should not duck. He cannot run. We will not let him hide.
This campaign is definitely feeling a lift from the Democratic convention, and Al Gore himself seems more focused and disciplined on the stump. But with Governor Bush making major inroads in what used to be Clinton country, this candidate knows he can't take anything for granted. Antonio?
Thank you, Terry. ABC's Terry Moran in Bellevue, Iowa. A Republican presidential nominee, George W. Bush, launches his biggest ad campaign ever on Monday. Today, Bush and his running mate, Richard Cheney, rallied with supporters at Southern Methodist University in Dallas. It is the last big event planned in Mr. Bush's home state. ABC's John Yang reports.
George W. Bush was in familiar territory today, talking about a familiar topic. He's beginning his general election push with a 2-week focus on education, which experts say is a powerful issue among crucial swing voters.
I know we need to have a president, and when we find children trapped in schools that will not teach and will not change, we better challenge the status quo, because there's no second-rate children in America and no second-rate dreams.
Later, in New Mexico, he called for spending $900 million to rehabilitate crumbling Native American schools.
Buildings are old and classrooms are poorly equipped, and maintenance oftentimes is neglected. There's a failure of responsibility at the federal level.
And a new television ad on education will appear in 21 states, including many key electoral battlegrounds.
Now is the time to teach all our children to read and renew the promise of America's public schools.
Analysts say Mr. Bush will have to offer policy specifics right up to Election Day in order to counter Democratic critics.
I think the Democrats have scored some points, or at least raised some questions about how serious and substantive he is. He does tend to be rather general in his comments, and he does have to demonstrate that he can be president of the United States, not just a good campaigner.
Next week, Mr. Bush takes his message on education to states like Wisconsin, Illinois, and Missouri. And Antonio, those are all key battleground states that will decide the winner in November.
On ABC's John Yang in Las Cruces, New Mexico. President Clinton spent a quiet 54th birthday near Lake Placid today, joined by his wife Hillary and daughter Chelsea. Vice President Al Gore's wife Tipper turned 52 today. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
My dad and I are pretty close. One day last year, his arthritis was acting up, so he took some Bayer. It has all the strength of prescription Tylenol. It relieved his pain. The next day, he suffered a heart attack. Incredibly, the doctor said Bayer not only relieved his arthritis pain, but aspirin helped save his life. Knowing all that Bayer can do, why would anyone take any other pain reliever again?
Bayer, powerful pain relief and so much more.
This is Batman. I need my door unlocked.
I'll do it right away.
If you get locked out, an OnStar advisor can unlock your doors by remote. Even the most self-sufficient driver needs a little help now and then.
OnStar, this is Jeff Field, and how can I help you, Batman?
I'm low on jet fuel.
The nearest station is 2 miles ahead on your left.
Thanks.
You recognize this? Sure you do. It's $1. You want to know why George Washington looks so ticked off? It's because he remembers when a buck was worth something. Nowadays, you're lucky if you can buy a pair of used socks at a garage sale for under $1. Well, cheer up, Georgie boy. At least you can get all your long-distance calls for only 99 cents.
That's right. Just dial 1010-220, and all calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents, and just 7 cents a minute after that. No fees, no switching. So if you want to talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents, just dial 1010-220 first.
Are you ready to see yourself as others see you?
I didn't know I was so gray.
Now escape that old gray look with new Just for Men. More than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator. Just for Men shampoos away gray in 5 easy minutes and now has vitamins. It brings back a thicker, healthier look that's completely natural.
I like what I see.
Just for Men. More than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator.
Is Al Gore his own man? Both campaigns weigh in with the latest. Ralph Nader says he isn't, and he'll explain why in an exclusive interview Sunday on This Week.
Sports fans at University of Mississippi campus events are now prohibited from waving Confederate flags. A federal appeals court backed the ban, upholding a federal district judge's decision from last year. An attorney for the white supremacist nationalist movement says he will appeal the decision. In North Carolina, tens of thousands of people are still without power tonight. Savage storms from the mountains to the coast ripped out trees and power lines yesterday. 50,000 power outages were reported throughout the state today. A Goodyear blimp ripped in half today as it tried to land in Philadelphia. A gust of wind blew the blimp into a metal mooring pole, tearing it and dumping the metal cockpit onto its side. The captain and 6 passengers all walked away uninjured. More than 2 million Catholic pilgrims braved 100-degree heat for a glimpse of Pope John Paul II. The Mass and vigil at a campground in Rome capped off this year's World Youth Day. The Pope created the event in 1985 to inspire young Catholics. More news in just a moment.
When Ben Crenshaw and Steve Elkington have a day off, they love to go for a drive. You can too, because now, in honor of the Buick Open, get $400 Buick Golf Gimme Cash on LeSabre and Century for a total of $1,900 cash back on the award-winning 2000 LeSabre and a total of $2,400 in cash and option package discounts on the Century 2000 Special Edition. Hurry, the $400 golf offer ends August 31st. Don't miss it. See your Buick dealer today.
Michael Johnson versus the Maytag Excelis 2X range. With its rapid cook technology, the Maytag Excelis is the only range that cooks in half the time.
Who's fast now, Michael?
Witness the phenomenon for yourself, online or at your Maytag store.
Who says you can't share secrets with your grandson for years and years?
Who says you can't watch the waves break for many summers to come?
Pravachol says you can fight back against heart attack. If you have high cholesterol or heart disease, and diet and exercise still aren't enough, adding Pravachol can make a difference. Other drugs lower cholesterol, but Pravachol is the only drug of its kind that's also proven to help prevent both first and second heart attacks, so you can live a longer, healthier life. Talk to your doctor about Pravachol today. Pravachol, a prescription drug, isn't for everyone, including people with liver problems or women who are pregnant, nursing, or may become pregnant. And because serious side effects can result, tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Pravachol. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about any medicines you are taking.
Who says you can't spend a lifetime with your first love?
Pravachol, it's your life. Fight for it.
A major power line from southeastern Montana to the Pacific Northwest is still down. A 100,000-acre wildfire is to blame. The blaze, one of many in Montana, is forcing evacuations of people and livestock. The power lines carry enough electricity to light 4 cities the size of Seattle, but service so far is unaffected. President Clinton's weekly radio address highlighted what the White House is calling a Marshall Plan for AIDS. Clinton signed a bill today authorizing $300 million for AIDS prevention, health care, and education for countries hardest hit by the disease. The measure also provides a trust fund for countries devastated by the epidemic. Remains thought to be those of 14 Americans who fought in the Korean War arrived in Japan today. About 20 veterans attended a UN repatriation ceremony for the lost soldiers. The remains are being taken to a lab in Hawaii today for identification. Coming up, the ice cap at the top of the world is melting, perhaps for the first time in 50 million years. Is proof of global warming finally here?
Do you know what your day is going to be like? I don't. So if I get constipated, I rely on Metamucil. It's 100% natural fiber, treats my body gently. Unlike my job.
Metamucil. For irregularity, it's the doctor's natural choice.
I'll trade you this salad for your pudding. Nope. This newspaper for that comic. Trade you mints. No. I'll trade you my 1998 Gateway PC for a brand new Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Pentium 3 processor, plus training.
Deal.
Buy a Gateway Essential PC with the YourWare program and trade it in toward the purchase of a new one after 2 years. Visit one of our 300 stores or call us.
Also want my little sister for a scanner.
When Ben Crenshaw and Steve Elkington have a day off, they love to go for a drive. You can too, because now, in honor of the Buick Open, get $400 Buick Golf Gimme Cash on LeSabre and Century for a total of $1,900 cash back on the award-winning 2000 LeSabre and a total of $2,400 in cash and option package discounts on the Century 2000 Special Edition. Hurry, the $400 golf offer ends August 31st. Don't miss it. See your Buick dealer today.
In this place, I see a lot of gas. I also see a lot of folks taking medicines that don't fight gas. But Gas-X has the most powerful medicine to relieve gas fast. Not that I've seen works faster. Gas-X beats the bloat fast.
Camp is where it all begins, and championship dreams are born. ABC Sports presents an NFL preseason special, Green Bay versus Miami, Monday night.
The National Zoo in Washington has applied for permission to rent 2 young pandas from Western China. The zoo would pay $10 million for Mi Shang, a 2-year-old female, and Tian Tian, a 3-year-old male. The zoo has been without a panda since the death of Sing Sing last year. Part of the ice cap at the top of the world has melted. The New York Times reports that some scientists are calling it dramatic proof that global warming has started to alter our climate. ABC's Dan Harris has more.
This is how it usually looks.
What you expect to see when you get to the North Pole is solid ice.
But on a recent expedition from Norway to the North Pole, Malcolm McKenna, along with a group of scientists and tourists, found open water, about a mile of it, right on the Earth's crown. McKenna, a paleontologist who has studied global warming, immediately started taking pictures to record what he says should be a serious wake-up call.
I think those who think that global warming is not occurring should pay a little closer attention to at least this single instance.
What McKenna and the others saw, however, may have been just an aberration. Experts say strong winds likely broke the ice apart. What is truly remarkable is that the expedition saw thinning ice all over the polar region. Climatologist Doug Martinson says the area has been warming at an alarming rate.
It's just another piece of evidence that's starting to say, wow, this may be really happening up there. It's really getting thinner, and eventually if we lose the ice in the summertime, we're talking about a potentially dramatic change, not just to the wildlife, but also to global climate.
Global warming, he says, could change weather patterns all over the Earth, affecting agriculture, water management, and energy management. But skeptics say the climate of the North Pole is always fluctuating, and that the open water recently seen there should not be cause for concern.
It's fashionable these days to blame everything on global warming, particularly on man-made global warming, but I'm afraid the evidence doesn't point in that direction.
Malcolm McKenna remains shocked by what he saw. He says we should not ignore that, as he wryly puts it, Santa's workshop is now underwater. Dan Harris, ABC News, New York.
To learn more about global warming and how it may be affecting your part of the country, visit the weekend page at abcnews.com. And that is our report for tonight. Tomorrow on This Week with Sam Donaldson and Cokie Roberts, Bush Communications Director Karen Hughes and Gore Senior Advisor Bob Shrum dissect the Democratic Convention. I'm Antonio Mora. For all of us here at ABC News, have a great night.
Sunday, defendants have a right to confront their accuser, but what if it means the accuser could be killed? The controversial case goes to the High Court. Watch World News Tonight, Sunday. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
For Tom Thompson to get a second chance at love, someone had to die.
Too late!
Do you want to get some coffee?
Unbelievable. He's picking up chicks.
Now he's going to get the girl.
Ow! Ow!
Even if it kills him. Franz David Schwimmer, Academy Award winner Gwyneth Paltrow, a network premiere, The Pallbearer, ABC tonight.
The 2000 Honda Clearance. It happens only once a year, and it's over before you know it. We live in rare times, don't we? The 2000 Honda Clearance. Seize the moment.
Now, News 2. First, fast, accurate.
We're here hoping to get their pictures out, that somebody will see them and help me find my boys.
A Memphis mother needs your help tonight. Her children are missing and may be in the area with their father who took them in November. The children's father is wanted in Memphis for bank fraud, wire fraud, and for fleeing Memphis to avoid arrest.
And the father is also wanted for taking his children. News 2's Melissa Avery joins us in the Satellite Center with the details. Melissa?
Kate Wisdom, Christy Walker believes her...
With a decidedly uptown look.
My kind of town.
Outback sedan.
Now you can get 4.9% APR on the popular 2000 Legacy and Outback models.
On World News Tonight this Sunday, dramatic first pictures of the doomed Russian submarine and conflicting reports about exactly what happened down there. The death toll climbs as investigators search for the cause of a New Mexico pipeline explosion. Critics of a new court ruling in California say it could turn murder witnesses into murder victims. And old McDonald's, it's not. Things are different these days down on this farm.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight, Sunday.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Simpson. It is a dark, dangerous, and delicate operation. Norwegian divers struggled all day and through the night with the escape hatch of the Russian nuclear submarine that sank to the sea floor a week ago. No luck opening it and no sign of life from the 118 crew members. As ABC's Richard Gisbert reports, there are conflicting accounts between the Russian and Norwegian navies about the condition of the submarine.
Today, the joint Norwegian-British rescue team went to work on its mission, getting into the Russian submarine on the ocean floor. The divers were lowered to the sub in a diving bell. 350 feet below the surface, they emerged. These pictures are shot by cameras mounted on their helmets and relayed to the communications center on the ship. By tapping on the submarine's surface with a hammer, the dive team can hear which parts of the sub are flooded and where the remaining air pockets are. Where there is air, there may be life. At one stage, they tap out a message. Is anybody alive in there? Apparently, they get no reply. The divers find extensive damage to the submarine, filming a piece of the hull. But this is where the arguments begin. The Norwegians disagree with Russian claims that the escape hatch was too bent in the accident to be locked onto by a rescue sub. Russia's deputy prime minister went on TV today, saying the inspection showed a serious crack. That's why we think the British sub will not be able to dock onto the hatch. A few hours later, the Norwegian military, whose divers were at the sub, contradicted him.
Well, our divers have been down there today, and they have confirmed